Okay? Get out of the way! This is my favorite spot! Ugh. Oh God, I was kidding. I was kidding. Sir! Taxi?
You're going down,
Hey.
asshole.
Ugh. All right, problem solved.
Oh, shit. Nice spot.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So typically when it's not a foggy, shitty mess, you can see the mountain, you can see the sign, the whole city, and you can see the boardwalk. It's nice. It's a good spot. I like this spot.
Parsons.
Parsons. You can actually see Parsons from here.
Yeah. That's a good spot.
Yeah. Yeah, shift 2.
So, I mean, what's the whole deal?
Do you know about Lenny getting fired?
I heard something about it, but I don't know the reason.
Well, it all went to shit there. And I tell you this in confidence as my therapist. Obviously, you know, you get it.
Yeah, no, it's, yeah.
You've been doing this longer than I have. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my presence in the PD is so unbelievably unwanted and just magnified. And I was never a firm believer in the idea that people were magnified. And I used to tell people all the time, back when I was command, I was like, no, you're not magnified. You're fine. You just keep doing your thing. But now I really start feeling, I feel like I'm just constantly under a fucking microscope. And it started with the day of Lenny's situation. You said you don't know why Lenny was fired?
No, I have no clue.
How do I say this? Lenny was fired for... you didn't hear this from me. Many people witnessed it that day, so if anything, you heard it from literally anyone else.
Okay.
Lenny shot Slacks in the head and Kit Archer in the head.
Why?
Contrary to popular belief, everyone thought it was a turbo, but nope, not a turbo. So let me give you my entire day, and I'll try and make sure that it's somewhat brief so that there's a little bit of validity to it without it being too overbearing. I get on duty. I start my day off on the roof, right? Clock on my phone. Go downstairs. Usually give myself like 15, 20 minutes before I like go out and about. I typically try my best to refrain from anything until I'm ready to go on patrol. An individual was asking about FOIAs, and he needed like 30 of them. And I said, okay. He said, I appreciate you doing this. I've been asking for hours and no one's helped me. So I helped out with FOIAs. Granted, I'm on duty roughly 10 minutes, we'll say. At this point, officers get shot at, specifically Declan Crane, Lenny Hawk, I believe Bay Weather. And, you know, we start getting the beeps. And I did not respond. I was not ready to be on duty. I was in the middle of something, and I did not... I didn't go. Right? I then get on radio shortly after I was asked if I'm good. No, I'm good. Sorry. Taking care of this. 4176 to CMC so that we could lock it down. We then get a call that apparently a vehicle was stolen from the scene. A police cruiser. Turned out to be Lenny's. We're searching for it, me and Decker. Lenny gets on the radio and he starts screaming. I've never in my career heard anyone scream like this man did. berating, yelling, competency, PD, just brainless folks who can't stay with a fucking vehicle, stupid, everything under the sun. Slacks 10-3 and said goodnight, get off duty, you're done. And then it built up to Slacks telling him, hey, shut the fuck up and get off duty. And then Lenny responded saying, what are you going to do about it? So it was heated on the radio. About 30 seconds later, we get the first alert that Slacks was shot. EMS calls in that Lenny had just shot Slacks. While he's walking away, I guess, or something, they tried to, for whatever fucking reason, detain the guy. And Kit tried to detain him, and Lenny just turned around and shot Kit in the head, too. And then Lenny was shot down. In saying that and in doing that, we had 4 cops in the ICU, and we had 5 on our feet. It was me, Barrick, Decker, Callista Bell, and Declan Crane. Barrick was now documenting 2 scenes, right? He needed the scene with Kit and the scene with Slacks. Decker and I were stuck with Lenny and processing. I processed Lenny. I was the reason why the charges went through and everything else. So, oh no, me, the guy that did my job. EMS transported him to the PD. Or sorry, EMS transported him to CMC. He gets in a side room. And it's me and Decker. And Declan walks in. He walks out. He walks back in. He goes, oh, Flop. So you got your gun out. That would have been nice 5 minutes ago. Making like snarky ass comments. And then he started talking about the competency of PD and all this other shit. And I was like, hey, Declan, there's a time and place. This isn't the time and place. Mind you, when this all happened before he was transported, Declan, who is Lenny's best friend, was over his corpse. And then followed in and started complaining about me, the nature of me as an officer, the nature of the PD. He's then standing over the bed and proceeds to load a magazine and then load the magazine into his gun. I was like, what the fuck? So I kind of just, honestly, I ignored it. And at that point, Lenny was helped too by doctors. I transported Lenny downstairs. Declan's still following, and he goes, you know, I think I'm going to get this bike impounded. I hate for it to get stolen. I'm like, whatever. Who fucking, just whatever. Get him in the car, drive him down to the PD. Decker walks out of the room because he requests an attorney, Lenny. And now it's me and Declan in the room. Mind you, I had my gun out throughout the entire situation. To what I remember, I don't know if the gun ever went away. I don't remember. But what I can tell you for certain is that my gun was out. Now, Declan is standing there. And I did the math in my head. We had 3 officers in the ICU. We had 3 officers in the ICU. Or, sorry, 4 officers in the ICU. We had Barrick documenting 2 scenes at the hospital. We had Callista Bell, who was literally just trying to crowd control half the city in front of the hospital. Decker taking care of a lawyer for Lenny. And then me in a room with Declan and Lenny. And I had my gun out. I didn't point it, I didn't aim it, but I had it out and at my hip. Declan asked, why do you have your gun out? I said, excuse me. He goes, why do you have your firearm out? I said, Declan, with all due respect, you have not handled yourself as an officer throughout this whole situation. I currently do not trust you. He goes 42 and he starts berating me on radio again, starts fucking losing it. Fuck you, fuck the horse you rode, whatever, paper pusher, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. I said, have a good night. Mind you, I've held 0 ill will toward this man. And I still don't hold any ill will. So now it comes to what the problem is. You know what the problem was?
What's the problem?
This 5-hour situation from the start of my day to the end of it was, why didn't I break off the FOIAs to go help out with the 13 alphas? Also, why did you have your gun out and aim it at an officer? I'm like, you can't be fucking serious. So I explained my side. Went through it all. So far, nothing has come from it, which concerns me because at this point, I feel like they should have had a fucking answer. But I can't speak for everybody. I can speak for myself in saying that I've moved on from the situation, but it's apparent that not everyone has.
It's insane to ask why you would have your gun out when an officer turned on other officers and the one that you were worried about was best friends with him. That's a logical reason to be cautious.
Give me 1 second. Hey, Duncan. I'm currently speaking with Pixie. I'm going to be probably about 15-20 minutes. Are you going to be around in 15-20?
Yes. I know it's scheduled to. It won't be very long. It's going to be shorter than the phone call that I just had that I expected to be 5 minutes. It will actually be 5.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Let me wrap up with Pixie. I tried calling you before. You didn't answer, so I called Pixie back.
I was on a phone call.
Oh,
was
okay.
a phone call.
No, you're good. I do want to talk to you. Let me wrap up with Pixie. I'm gonna be a few minutes, and then I have no problem meeting up with you. I'm off duty right now, so.
I mean, yeah, me too. I'll be in my office.
Okay, sounds good. I will see you at your office when I get there. I'll call you when I'm on the way.
I'm glad you know where it is.
Oh, of course I do.
All right, see you there.
All right, bye. Sorry.
That's all good.
To answer your response, I'm gonna need you to pump the brakes because you're being logical. It's no surprise why I had my gun out.
Yeah.
I did not aim it. I do not hold any ill will in that situation. The way that Declan carried himself, I'm gonna say it again. We had 4 cops in the ICU. We had Barrick handling 2 scenes outside the hospital, Bell crowd controlling half the city, me and Decker taking care of Lenny, and Declan, who did nothing throughout that entire scene except hover. I did not feel safe around him. I did not feel comfortable. And I told him very strictly why I had my gun out, and I'm not afraid to say why I had my gun out. And I'm going to tell you, Pixie, I would do it all over again. And I don't know what his reasoning was. I've had so many days to think about this. The only thing that has come to mind as a possibility is that maybe Declan thought that because he was close to Lenny, it could be looked at as conflicting. Maybe. That's the only theory I could come up with. But my only rebuttal to that is if that was his reasoning, and the reason why I think I might be wrong about that is if that was his reasoning, why did he stay on scene the entire time?
How long has Declan been an officer?
Not long enough. 3 months?
So his paranoia trumps a person that's been seasoned in seniority in your reasoning.
Yep.
Who the fuck's in charge?
I don't know, but I think it is a fucking egregious play that they're going with, and I don't know what it is, but I haven't heard a response back. It makes me, I honestly, if they can't come up with a conclusion at this point, it really does make me think that there's something else going on. I'm an overthinker. I could be wrong. I'd like to be wrong, but you know.
That is, yeah.
Are you speaking up, by the way?
Huh?
Are you speaking up or are you whispering?
I'm whispering.
Okay. You're good. If I whisper, is everything okay? Is this fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
I.
You want to hear the real kicker out of all this?
Come on.
I asked the commanding member who's investigating this, I said, what is my current look at for punishment? He said demotion. Between you and I, if they demoted me, they'd be doing me a favor.
I was about to say that's not a punishment, that's a reward, less responsibility, and you could just, do your fucking job.
Yeah, well, this is the other real kicker. I got on duty today, and I had Duncan Fenwell, who I know a lot of people have a lot to say about Duncan. They hear Duncan, they go, ugh. Something I'm gonna say about Duncan that I can't say for a lot of people in the PD. Duncan may be the realest, most honest, officer we have in the PD. And he is willing to back up people in the best ways. And even though Duncan has a lot of fluff about him, he has very valid points, and he's very reassuring. And I actually really appreciate his 2 cents on stuff. Not many people have called me since the incident. So far, the 2 people has been Duncan and Captain Slacks, actually, funny enough.
Oh, wow.
So those are the only 2 people who have called me. And it comes to show that unfortunately people will listen to anything, because I got word today from Duncan that Max Thoroughbred is going around calling me FOIA flop. And yeah, I know sticks and stones may break my bones, all that bullshit. But my question is, where is the integrity of keeping internal? And an internal investigation is not internal when everybody knows about it.
Oh, I mean, I have a theory on Max is going to rain hell. And he's already started.
I couldn't have guessed.
Oh, I know. We got docked. We're getting paid $250 an hour.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
EMS and doctors. Because of a joke that was kind of like, hey, vote for cancer. And Letson put his hat in for liaison just for shits and giggles.
That's kind of funny.
And then it was like, don't vote for that guy. He sucks. And it was, we're all joking about it. And apparently somebody, that was in our communications and our, Discordia stuff. And they deemed that as voter fraud. So he docked everybody's pay. And he won't relent until she admits that she committed fraud.
I'm sorry. I don't have my MDT with me. Am I crazy, or is that not? I gotta read the actual charge for fraud. I'm pretty sure him cutting pay like that is actually fraudulent.
I mean, he's
based on that reasoning.
Everybody's like, oh my God, he's doing this. And I'm like, guys, do you realize he is on his last term? He doesn't have to impress anybody. He doesn't have to play nice anymore. If you knew him before, buckle up, because it's going to get rough.
Oh yeah, no,
and
this is just
rough.
This is just the beginning. And I hate to say it, but I just...
He wants chaos, and he has already started.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, he's going around talking shit about me. Which I don't even know why he's talking shit about me. Between you and I didn't vote for the guy, but I told him to his face I voted for him. And I will say that proud, and no one will know who I actually fucking voted for. But as far as he's aware, I voted for him. Because nothing lets him sleep better at night than knowing that he has a supporter. I'm not about the compliance bullshit. but I am about the idea of as long as he rests easy at night knowing that I voted for him, that's all that matters. So, but unfortunately, the problems don't even like end there. A couple days ago, I got a call from Captain Slacks. And one of the complaints, or not complaints, but one of the concerns was, hey, Edda tweeted 10 minutes ago, I hope everyone's having a great day. Captain noticed something weird about budget-related stuff, right? Noticed something. Flop, I'm tasking you. Can you try and get in touch with Edda? I'm worried about her. I don't know what's going on. I said, sure. I was off duty. Tried to call Edda. She didn't answer. I texted her. No answer. So I 911 and I'm like, hey, like, this is a fucking problem. I have reason to believe so-and-so based on timeline. She tweeted and no one can get in touch. And Captain Slacks is worried and it's unlike her to not respond to her text messages. Heard nothing. Said, fuck this. I'm getting back on duty. Got back on duty. Unironically, do you know who took the whole situation seriously? Through and through?
Oh.
Cletus Cornwood.
Oh. Yeah, I remember he was looking for. I was in the middle of doing something and he was rushing in the hospital looking for somebody and I wasn't paying attention to who.
Yeah. Well, I get back on duty to like kind of go through things and I said, you know, hey, here's the rundown. This is the timeline. I'm concerned based on timeline. This is very unlike Edda to tweet and then 10 minutes later have no response. After Captain Slacks has concern as well, I have reason to believe and suspect that she's either kidnapped or in danger. This is not behavior of Edda. And Sergeant stepped up and we're like, what's your reasoning? And oh man. I'm gonna let this one ring. No, you're good. I'm gonna let this one ring. This is actually Ash Ketchup, funny enough. I'm gonna let it ring and then I'll call her back. Put my phone on mute.
He's so popular.
Apparently, I'm gone 2 days. But yeah, so Sergeant stepped up and we're like, so what's going on in this situation? I'm like, I just explained that this is based on timeline, that I have reasons to suspect that the treasurer, I'm going to say again, the treasurer is possibly in danger. I'll say that in plainer terms. A government employee was possibly kidnapped. What's the first thing the sergeant said on radio? You sure she's not just fucking?
What the?
I said, excuse me? I said, I would rather be safe than fucking sorry, but I'm not going to joke about it until I know that she's okay. And whatever, they kind of did their thing. Hey, you know, main channel thing is done. Let's move this back to channel 1. Okay, move to channel 1. Declan then gets on radio after hearing about this and goes, are you sure they're not just fucking? I'm like, you cannot be fucking serious right now. I 10-3'd his ass. I said, shut the fuck up. I said, playing it safe than sorry. I'd rather treat this with the highest demand of respect it deserves than not responding at all. So, and I had asked multiple times for people to go out to my house. No one went. Saw someone at my house who was on my lawn. I detained them, had another officer. I asked for a backup unit. No one responded. And then another officer got on radio and was like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you need a 77? Knowing that I was pissed off. And the person that cadet was being driven by a sergeant as well. So obviously nothing happened with that. So I was all sorts of pissed. I went into the house to clear it and I saw them sleeping. I got on radio and I'm like, hey, Code 4, they're sleeping. And then it broke out in laughter and a bunch of other shit. And it was just a giant clusterfuck of just essentially just people not trusting my ability, not trusting my integrity. And I got pissed because if it was a sergeant off duty kidnapped, we would have had every fucking unit in the goddamn Air Force looking for this man with thermals. It would have been a SEAL Team 6 operation to find a kidnapped or a possibly unresponsive sergeant off duty. But the treasurer? Yeah, who cares? And I had to say, when I spoke with Etta, I didn't even tell her about this situation because I didn't want her to hear how the PD responded.
Yeah, no, I know how hard it is to get officers to come to the hospital when, you know, doctors are being stabbed and shot.
Yeah.
It's actually happening, and they're just like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Pixie, it's unreal. I don't have this problem in shift 3, and the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking that I think I'm no longer going to show up to shift 2. Shift 2 is worried about a click. Every shift is worried that, oh, they're in their own click. Well, here's the fucking reality. Shift 2 is in a click, and no one in the PD wants to say it because, oof, we don't want to go around saying that because then you're going to create a problem. Okay, fine. I'll create the problem. Shift 2 has a click, and they clearly know what they want. And that's impossible officers.
This is the same complaints that I heard years ago. It's the same stuff. Everybody settled back into it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
not kidding. Everybody just slowly gravitated back to what it used to be and the complaints.
I mean, it's really not a secret as to what's going on. The PD is not in a good spot. But to tell me that I'm deserving of a demotion because of an altercation that happened, and then the internal investigation is now out in public for the man with the microphone to go around and tell crowds of people. I mean, honestly, if that's not, what's the word I'm looking for? Harassment? Is that harassment?
I mean, it's unprofessional. Negligence and...
What's stopping me from just suing the fucking mayor at this point, though? What are they going to do? Fire me? Oh, no. They're already talking about 1 foot out the door.
Yeah, I don't know. This is one of those... I don't understand why a new officer who... I mean, that situation, I could understand why you had your gun out. You didn't threaten him with it, but you stated why you were cautious. I don't know. There is a divide. And there's a lot of people that know, oh, it's around this time of this shift, so why bother calling cops or dealing with anything? Because we know what response we're going to get. So, I don't know.
Sorry, I'm just texting the person that called me.
Oh, it's all good.
Ash, your real friend, man. Goddamn.
I mean, I know that... I don't know why PD seems to take so fucking long for anything. I know a lot of people are waiting on responses for stuff. You know, I've talked to a few people.
Slander,
and
defamation, yeah.
It's just, I don't know what's going on. It's ridiculous in my eyes, you know, watching this from afar and hearing the stories. I just want to shake everybody and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Unless there's just somebody on the inside that wants everything to just burn.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. The fire lit under PD right now is detrimental. And I don't think people realize how bad it is. And maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's all not that bad. And maybe I'm just the punching bag. But I'm going to be honest.
Max has the voice and the ear of everybody in that PD. And you do know that what he did before, right?
Oh, that he's a fucking terrorist?
He wants chaos. He doesn't want government structure. He wants it all to just fall apart, disintegrate.
You know, I'm gonna give a harsh reality. If Max actually had the opportunity to look around and keep up with the fucking news as to what happened 5 years ago, and people actually gave a shit about who we elected, Max would not be mayor right now.
Oh, I agree.
I'm gonna say it. Majority of the city is incompetent and can't figure out how to put a square in a square hole. It is literally a keyed system. We don't elect ex-terrorists in positions where we just had a failed government and had to evade this island for 5 years. What's the first thing we do? Let's elect a terrorist, and to put beside him another terrorist, and let them make all the demands and control on the civilians. Oh, and while we're at it, let's give the mayor full control over the PD. There is no law and order. There will never be law and order as long as Max is mayor.
Three more months of that?
The first 3 months felt like 6, so God only knows what this is going to be.
I think it's going to be much worse.
I talked with someone the other day before the final poll results. There was a conversation was had that the day after the mayor is elected, we're going to see pay drop. And based on what you just said, I'm not even surprised. I cannot be colored surprised. I predicted this, and I saw it a mile away, and here we are.
Yeah. I will say though, it's bringing all of the doctors who actually care about the job and the EMS together, because we're doing dumb shit, going to the vanilla unicorn, being naughty doctors, and actually making more money in like 10 minutes. We're giving it to the EMS so they can do the repairs. Like, we're all bonding. So we're making a positive out of a negative, and you know, we will endure. So, but yeah, he hates cancer. He hates cancer with a hot burning passion. And I'm like, you're punishing everyone because you don't like her. And he said, well, she just needs to admit that she committed fraud, and then I will raise the pay again. He's on a power trip.
The fact that he is not in charge of producing an investigation on that and is making a direct change to pay due to the result of, I'm pretty sure is fucking illegal.
We also had doctors. He claims that a couple doctors said that they were scared if they didn't vote for Cantor, they would be fired. And I'm like, those are probably doctors that haven't even fucking worked. Because we do have a lot of doctors. You know what they like to do? I'm like, hey, I haven't seen you around. And the first thing they do is, oh, I did my 4 hours this month. I didn't ask that. I just said I hadn't seen you around.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know why you're fucking here then if that's all you want to do is 4 hours a month and then fuck off. So we've got some rats in our department that are causing problems and up his ass. And yeah.
Oh, don't worry. We had 2 captains leaving Slacks alone so that they could replace them essentially with a giant rat above Slacks, which unfortunately right now is seemingly way more to be a Barrick problem because Max appointed Barrick, which means just to give you some context on this, think about the way that this is going. Think about this thought process. Barrick had his name in Max's hat, and Max had a list of people that he wanted to put in said positions. Max handpicked, as far as I'm aware, unless I'm unknowing of the actual process, handpicked Barrick Johnson to be our chief of police. And I like Barrick. In the role he is in right now, it leaves me with more question than answers. But if you want to talk about total control, I have been saying since the beginning of time that all Max wants is compliance. And guess what? How do you get compliance? You put leaders in leadership roles that are picked by a leader. Congratulations, you've now created a bond. And just to top that one off, and just in case it wasn't any worse than before, I have the fullest faith that Cornwood is willing to speak up about topics. But Cornwood is also very buddy-buddy with Max, and I think in a liaison position, you need someone who is more of an opposition than where Cornwood's at. So our liaison is the person that is frequently invited to the council meetings. You want to talk about total control? Every single person who wears a badge, any single person who currently right now works in medical, anyone who drives something with emergency lights is being held by the balls by this man. And it hasn't been 48 hours since the official results. And the way that he gets off by it is to use people like, I guess, myself, yourself, and Cantor to be human punching bags. And we're just supposed to sit here and deal with that. I believe Max has okay intentions in some things, but based on his past, there's no fucking way. I just, Pixie, there is no way.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have a problem with me.
God, keep it that way.
I mean, I used to be a therapist. Well, I am a therapist.
Ugh.
I know a lot.
You want to quit and spill the beans?
Oh God. I think he's I don't know. I honestly think he's just setting everything up. And, you know, as you notice, I don't know what he had in place for the liaisons if it didn't go his way. Like, of course, Cantor, he doesn't like Cantor, so he threw a hissy fit. So it just makes me believe that he had something in place and he's, you know, making sure everything's perfect for whatever he's wanting to do. And I know what he's capable of, and it's interesting though. I noticed that Lang was talking against him a lot. They used to be friends.
Yeah, everybody's friends with everybody.
But he was talking shit about him on Twitter because he was trying to get Marlowe elected. So I don't know. I'm just kind of like standing back, waiting for it to get shittier.
Pixie, it's hard to be on duty. And I think I would imagine right now that's the same thing for the doctors and EMS.
Well, the thing is, though, with I mean, we all are on the same page, even with, the higher ups and, to the interns. We're all like, we have each other's back. So it's, it's okay when we're all together. You know what I mean? It's a different environment than PD, because you guys have a divide, a huge divide, and you're not the only officer that I've talked to that has had the similar story. It's just like the same story over and over.
It's a wheel that keeps turning, and unfortunately the problem's never going to resolve, and I do not believe that the problem will resolve until Max is out of office. I'm going to tell you something, and it's on the back of my mind. I am concerned that some way, somehow, my job's on the line for this. And I'm going to tell you something, Pixie, that I don't talk about with a lot of people, but I have no problem. I've known you forever. There's a reason I still do my job. And it's because I love the occupation. I just don't like the people. I love being a cop. I love helping people. I love being a leader. I love being a helping hand to others. I like being, a foundational, I guess, LEO to the community. I like that people trust me. And I like that people know that there's a trust and bond with somebody who wears the badge. And the reality is that I know that when I put on the uniform, I am also essentially symbolizing everything else happening in the PD and embracing everyone else's actions. But I do it for myself. Because the moment you try and please other people, it crumbles. But more now than ever, I can't keep myself enjoying my time on duty anymore, feeling like I'm constantly under a microscope. But the reality is that the reason I haven't walked away yet is because I still love my job. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I quit years ago. I quit and I left for like a couple months, but nobody will let me quit. They still kept coming to me.
It's because you're loved and wanted, and you're the only one that can do the job.
There's others that can do the job.
But you're better at it.
Oh, there's got to be other people that are better at it.
Maybe. In my books, it's literally you and only you.
Yeah, I mean, it's flattering, but also it's exhausting.
I get it. I get it. You want to have your time too.
Yeah.
Can I give you a piece of advice?
What?
If I told you this story, you can cut me off. But I was talking with Duncan a while ago, and he asked me. He came up to me with a bunch of problems, and he said, "Flop, do you feel like you could take a week away?" I said, "Do you want the professional or unprofessional answer?" He goes, "Unprofessional." I said, "I couldn't give a flying fuck if this building burned down tomorrow. If they can't handle the process without you, then it was bound to fail to begin with." And that's a fact. If you stepping away is the detriment and what causes everyone else's knees to shake because they can't keep themselves stabilized, then guess what? It was bound to fail to begin with. And that's okay. Because that's not the result of you. That's the result of every level of it. And just like our shoes, where we're at right now in the PD, if I stepped away and everything were to fall apart, then it was bound to fail to begin with. But here's the reality. And the same can be said for you. Even though people want you, Pixie, the same can be said about you. Everybody, to some degree, I hate to say now more than ever, and I'm pulling a page out from Rhodes's book. You are as much as I am, as much as Matt is, as much as Max is, a cog in a wheel. And when the teeth on the gears get thin and don't bite as much as they used to, they're gonna walk over, take you out, and replace you with another cog. Unfortunately, right now, the cog controlling everything, Max, is causing a lot of people's cogs to break down a lot quicker. And a lot of people are getting real thin.
Well, it's not just Max, though. It's Max and Siobhan.
Yeah.
They're a duo, and that is a vicious duo.
Yeah, I remember when I liked Siobhan. And then she announced the quota system, and I raised my hand and said, okay, I'm working 3 weeks on an attempted first-degree murder investigation. I don't get any points for that, but I am absolutely going to be disregarding traffic stops in that process. What does that mean for me in the quota system? And her response was 3 weeks? I said, yeah. She goes, 3 weeks sounds like too long. Sounds like you're spending too much time focusing on that. Yeah, no, you're right, Siobhan. A man's life was just at risk of never coming back. We call that death. And a traffic infraction is what matters. Good to know. The most disrespectful thing ever said to me as an LEO. Someone who has and will continue to be for the people. I will always be for the person before I am for the call. I don't give a shit what the call is for. If a 911 comes through and somebody needs police assistance, I want to be there for them. Because at the end of the day, that's what fucking matters. It's not... And I'm going to tell you, EMS can say the same thing. They do the job because they want to help people. But to be told, you spend too much time helping people, you should spend more time at laundromat robberies. Get those quota points up. Fuck you. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on.
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry. If that's the mentality that the PD needs, then guess what? You'd might as well rip the badge off my chest and take hair with it. Because fuck you. I'm not changing my ways for that.
Yeah. No, it's a joke with some of the stuff that's going on. Most of the stuff. They've turned this place into Gotham. And they are the villains running the city. That's how I'm looking at it. Because it's just... It's ridiculous of what's going on. And how they keep getting away with, you know. Yeah, but then, you know, logic. Why am I using logic?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just keep my head down and, you know, keep it on a swivel. Because fucking hell. I don't know. I really... It's not much we can do while he's in charge of everything.
And that's why this is so terrifying.
I've gotten to a point where I'm okay if I lose my job, if I lose everything, I'm good. I'm okay. I used to be so afraid of it, but now you could take it away and I know I could still do what I do and I'd be fine. I don't I don't need to I don't need the government. I can just, go off in private practice. I got enough people that will come to me and I know they would actually pay me, so I'm good.
Yeah.
But it makes me want to speak out a little more.
I've tried. You know what my problem is that I'm not Pixie, I'm not even beating myself up over everything that's happened.
I mean, there's no reason to.
There's not.
I honestly, and I mean this in the best way. I hope you do get demoted. Like I said, less responsibility, and you can actually just do your job, be a cop.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that's a punishment at all. I think that's a reward.
That's what I was saying. Unfortunately, if they're gonna go down that road, though, I've already told one of the sergeants. I said I am hereby requesting formal demotion and revocation of my FTO cert. And if you want to wait until my punishment for that, so be it. But I was very vocal about that. I told the sergeant that was talking about punishing me that I am miserable, and I think the exact phrase I used was that I am fucking miserable. I said we are spread too thin, and unfortunately, no matter how far you try and keep afloat, there are some days where I am stuck in an office, and that's just the reality. There's just some days that I don't leave the PD. But 10 minutes I'm on duty, I don't leave the PD, and now I'm being framed for it. You know, if you were to add up every single time I didn't go to a call because I just got on duty, you should have taken my badge 3 months ago, and you also should have taken about 70,000 other fucking officers' badges too while you're at it.
Yeah. Just want to, like I said, I just want to angry shake the people in charge and go like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Compliance. People in charge are built off of compliance. The chain of command structure was put in positions by a man who was selected by a man that got voted in by the civilians. And that goes for PD and that goes for doctors and EMS. The fact this man got a second term is insane to me, but
Yeah, I was like, you know what? There's a shot for a couple of other people that I really thought would have it, but yeah, it wasn't even close. Well, welcome to Gotham, where the villains are running the city. That's what's happening.
what do you think's gonna happen to this place again?
I don't know. To be honest, I'm making friends with people that will have my back on stuff, so
Yeah, that's why I have to go have this meeting with Duncan, which I don't want to cut this short, but I do need to be out of here at a shorter time.
It's fine.
I got a doctor's appointment in Polito.
Fun.
Yeah, it's great. Probably surgery. A lot of fun.
Ooh.
I know.
Exciting.
Exciting. I know. They got to take a knife and cut me fucking open. I can't wait.
Well, I mean, they do that to fix whatever's, needs to be fixed.
Why can't they just give me a meth pipe and tell me it's all going to be okay?
Because that just makes it worse.
But it makes me feel better.
Yeah, but it makes it worse. In the long run, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to make friends with as many people as possible. So if shit goes down, you know, I'm not gonna be, you know, I don't know. I know it sounds weird, but trying to make friends with the right people to make sure that I don't get, I don't know, steamrolled.
Yeah. Make friends with the people who actually care about you, because at the end of the day, that's what really matters. So
Well, not necessarily. I mean, people who have power.
we'll start walking back to the car. Like I said,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Who
I mean,
have
I'm
as much or more power than the people that are causing the problems.
I'm
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah. That's why I was actually kind of relieved. Slacks called me earlier, and he was just like, "Yeah, hey, I just taking my mind off police work. How are you?" I said, he asked, are you good? And I said, you want me to answer that honestly? He goes, yeah. I said, no. I said, I feel like I've recently become the punching bag, and no matter how hard I keep my head up and I keep moving forward, it constantly just feels that way. So I told him, and he said to knock off the bullshit and keep my head moving forward, because I have a good head on my shoulders. So
Yeah, you do. And it's the ones that that are, you know, logical and are doing the right thing are suffering the most.
because the right thing is to not be compliant, and the moment you're not compliant, you're the enemy.
Yeah. Just trying not to make waves with anybody, and you know, genuinely, I'm not really, I mean, I'm pissed off at the situation and some people, but you know.
Thanks for watching the car. What a nice
Look at
guy.
that. Nice.
What a nice guy. Yeah, I'm doing my best. I'm doing the best that I can, and I think that's all I can do. Hey, bro, you knew I was there.
Got scared.
Yeah. I don't know. I know I'm not right in all my theories, but I know I am right that I am still a good officer, and I will continue to do what's right. I just wish there was a little less magnification on the stuff that I did wrong, and more of the appreciation of what I do right.
Yeah, that's a lot of that is a big problem with everybody likes to point out what you did wrong, but no one likes to praise the things that you do well.
Well, and I told this to all three captains when I did my anonymous, like, kind of going around, ask officers how they feel about things. When you go up to somebody and say, how do you feel things are going so far? The overall answer, almost exclusively, is, I really don't like this. Okay, let's talk about it. It doesn't start off with, no, things are great, except for this. No one's going to talk about the good, because the good is just to do your job. The bad inherently is what people want to talk about. And I told the captains, I said, when I do this, understand that all these complaints are complaints. No one is happy. And just understand that in order to weed out the bullshit, find the similarities in all 15 of these complaints, and you'll probably find your damn answer.
Yeah.
So, and of course that turns into, well, which officer said this? I said, do you not know the point of what an officer complaint is? An anonymous complaint, anonymous notes, for the sole purpose of trying to better the PD. And it immediately brought into question, who said what? And I'm like, there's way more to this than who said what. It doesn't matter who said what.
People want to punish. People want to punish. They want to focus on somebody, and yeah.
I don't know. I plan on keeping you posted on what's going on. I'm kind of just trying to keep my head up, but it's hard.
Yeah, no, I get it, but I mean, PD needs you, so you know.
They need me until they don't, and the moment
Yeah,
they want
but
to chew